Yeah, we back. Now, today's video is going to be a follow-up video to one I dropped yesterday, where we spoke about how the military government in Mali is set to receive a big payday for the first quarter of the year to the tune of over $1.2 billion. Now, how this was made possible was because the Minister of Finance had done some calculations, right? He ran the numbers and he realized that there was a large deficit in terms of what should have been generated for the state revenue. And after he examined the financial records, he realized that a lot of these foreign companies operating inside the country have not been upholding their end of the bargain. They have not been paying their taxes and they have not been following the financial regulations. So because of that fact, many companies, many executives were brought back to the table to negotiate, to have a conversation. Because not only were they not paying their taxes, but all of these contracts, all of these agreements had to be renegotiated. So over the past year, the military government in Mali has established a brand new mining code. The previous mining code that governed the mining sector has been abolished, and they established a brand new set of guidelines. Now, most companies, it seems, have accepted the new order of things. If they owed any taxes, they paid off their debts, and most companies, it seems, had no issue with renegotiating the numbers, renegotiating the profits, and giving the government a bigger share of the revenue. But over the past few months, it's been two companies in particular that refused to get in line. As we discussed in a video yesterday, the multinational gold mining company, Resolute Mining, the CEO was arrested in Mali a couple months ago, right? The CEO, Terrence Holohan, and he was incarcerated for several days, and he was granted his freedom after they came to an agreement. Take a look up on the screen. Mali wins $160 million in gold mining dispute after arresting a British businessman. Resolute Mining said in a stock market announcement on Monday that it had already paid Mali $80 million, with the money coming out of its $157 million cash reserves, and would pay another $80 million in the coming months. So listen, they agreed to pay $160 million, but they only had $157 million in their cash reserves, which means that they don't even got the money to pay. They have to empty out all their liquid assets to pay off this debt. Now I understand why the CEO didn't want to pay the money. Now I understand why he ended up getting arrested and tried to play hardball, because he didn't even have the money on hand. Just to pay off this debt, he had to empty the entire stash. He had to empty the entire savings just to pay off this debt. Now I understand why he didn't want to pay. But anyways, let's get back to the topic of conversation. So let's turn our focus to the company at hand, Barrick Gold, because that's the company we're talking about in today's video. Now, Barrick Gold, the second largest gold mining company on planet Earth, take a look up on the screen. Mali is seeking $500 million in outstanding taxes and dividends from Barrick. Now, Barrick Gold, similar to Resolute Mining, they've been slapped with a tax bill. The executives have been told to come down to the country. Let's have a conversation. Let's examine their financial records. Let's renegotiate the numbers. Barrick has responded by saying, no, we don't owe you a single dime. We're not going to pay a goddamn thing. Now, similar to the situation with Resolute Mining, take a look up on the screen. Back in November, 4 Barrick Gold employees arrested in Mali, and I believe they are still in captivity. And not only that, Mali issues an arrest warrant for the Barrick Gold CEO, Mark Bristow. Like I said in the last video, Mark Bristow, listen, why you ducking the smoke? Mark Bristow knows damn well he has an arrest warrant on his name. And if he was a man, you better come down to the courthouse and clear your name. Come down to the country, come down to the capital city of Bamako and answer for these allegations. Don't be running and hiding. Don't be ducking the smoke. Don't be hiding for cover. Come down to the country. Let's have a conversation. Let's examine their financial records as men. If your hands are clean, you don't got nothing to worry about, bro. Just come down to the country. Let's have a conversation. Now, take a look up on the screen. Barrick Gold faces export ban and warns of a shutdown. Now, ever since this arrest warrant was put out for CEO Mark Bristow, there's been a block on the shipments of gold leaving the country. So until Mark Bristow comes and answers for these allegations, there is not going to be a single ounce of gold leaving the country. That's why I said, Mark Bristow, come down to the country. Let's get this cleared up, bro. If you are an honest businessman like you claim, if you are a man of honor and integrity and credibility, then you should have no problem coming down to the country and let's sit down at the table and let's talk about it, bro. But unfortunately, it seems like Mark Bristow, the CEO of Barrick Gold, it seems that he is not a man of honor, integrity, and credibility, because he has refused to come down to the country and answer for his arrest warrant. So because of that fact, take a look up on the screen. Mali begins enforcing gold seizures at the Barrick site. Yeah, we had to do it to you, bro. We had to do it to you. Like I said, we gave you the notification. We told you come down to the country. Let's have a conversation. You refused to come down to the country and have a conversation. So unfortunately, we got to come down to the Barrick site and confiscate the stockpiles of gold. let's get into some of these articles. Take a look up on the screen. The world's #2 gold producer, that's Barrick Gold, is locked in a dispute with the Malian government that centers on the distribution of revenue from the vast Loulo-Gounkoto complex. Shipments from the mine have been blocked since November. Mali's government began enforcing a provisional order to seize gold stocks at Barrick Gold's Loulo-Gounkoto site. Now, gold stock is basically the stockpiles of gold, the multi-tons of gold down at the mining site. Now, let's continue. The move suggests that Mali's military authorities are not ready to back down in a standoff over a contract based on new mining rules as they push for a greater share of revenues from Western miners. A provisional order to seize our existing gold stock was issued last week, and the Mali government began the enforcement on January 11th, Barrick said in the staff memo. So Barrick already let it be known, them boys coming down to the mining site, guns in hand, and they about to run off with the gold. They about to run off with the gold because the CEO doesn't want to come down to the country and have a conversation. He doesn't want to negotiate. He doesn't want to pay what he owes. So we just gonna have to come down to the mining site and just confiscate the multi-tons of gold down at the mining site and put it in the treasury for safekeeping. Make sure it doesn't get lost. So we got to put it in the treasury. Let's continue. 2 Barrick employees in Mali and a consultant working for mining companies confirmed the authenticity of the letter seen by Reuters. Speaking on condition of anonymity, the employees said it was sent to staff on Sunday. Barrick has not said what volume of gold is at risk, but one of the employees said Loulo-Gounkoto stockpiles was around 4 metric tons. This amounts to nearly $380 million based on spot gold prices. God damn. Now listen, Mark Bristow, it didn't have to be this way, bro. It didn't have to be this way. All you had to do was simply come down to the country and just answer for these allegations, man. Answer for these charges, bro. Why you hiding in the closet? Mark Bristow hiding in the closet like his dad about to come home and spank him, bro. Mark Bristow, you a grown ass man. Why are you hiding in the closet? Mark Bristow hiding under the bed, bro. Mark Bristow, come down to the country and have a conversation, man. Why you ducking and hiding? You ducking the smoke. But that's how you know Mark Bristow is a guilty man, because instead of coming down to the country and clearing his name, he's going to sacrifice the stock performance of the company. He's going to sacrifice damn near $500 million worth of gold. He's going to sacrifice the integrity and the reputation of the company, all because he refuses to hop on a plane and come down to the country and answer for his allegations. That's how I know you are guilty of something, my friend. Now let's continue. Barrick Gold shares declined more than 2% in morning trading on Monday after reports emerged that Mali's military government has began enforcing an order to seize gold stockpiles at the Loulo-Gounkoto mine operated by the company. A company memo obtained by Bloomberg revealed that while gold shipments from the mine have been blocked since November, the military government began enforcing the seizure order on January 11th. The directive issued earlier this month aims to claim gold stockpiled at the site. The Malian authorities started removing gold stockpiles from the mining site by helicopter on Saturday. Now, listen, we already let them know what time it is, bro. We said we ran the numbers, we ran the books, and we have discovered that you owe at least $500 million in back taxes and debts. And that's being generous. That's a generous number, right? And Mark Bristow looked the black man dead in the face and said, I don't owe you a goddamn thing. Kiss my ass. So listen, we had no choice. You left us no choice, bro. We had to come in with the helicopters. We had to come in with the choppers, and we had to confiscate all the metric tons of gold, right? Because it doesn't seem like Mark Bristow was going to come down to the country and have a conversation. Because if he was, he would have already did that long time ago. So obviously, Mark Bristow, he's ducking the smoke. And that's fine. But in the meantime, we're going to go down to the mining site and we're going to confiscate all the stockpiles of gold. Because you don't want to pay your debts? That's fine. You're going to pay off your debt one way or another. Mark Bristow has to understand you are a guest in our home. You are a guest in a black man's home, right? You are a foreigner doing business. You are an outsider. You have to understand that. And you have to respect the laws of the land. You have to obey our guidelines and regulations. In the same way, if we were doing business in your country, right? Because Mark Bristow is a South African national, right? And we know South Africans, we know how you guys feel about foreigners and outsiders and immigrants, right? So as an outsider doing business in a foreign country, you should also have that same energy. Show that same respect as an outsider, as a foreigner, as an immigrant doing business in a foreign country. And if by the off chance there was a misunderstanding or a disagreement, you should have the integrity, at least as a man, to come down to the country and clear your name and speak to us face to face, sit at the table, look me in my eye and shake my hand as a man. But you don't even have the honor and integrity to do that. So honestly, at this point, you have left us no choice, right? So the black man has to come down to the mining site by helicopter and confiscate all the several metric tons of gold. Because you don't want to pay off your debts? That's fine. You're going to pay off your debts one way or another. We're going to make you pay off your debts. Now, the Western media just to get ahead of it, right? Because I'm sure they're going to paint this whole entire scenario, this whole entire narrative about how Assimi Goïta is a military dictator who is harming economic stability in the region, right? Things like that. But in reality, what he is doing is no different than what many other governments, especially Western governments, have done in the past, right? What he is doing is simply enforcing the laws of the land. And as a sovereign leader, he has the right to enforce the laws of his national territory, regardless of who it is, whether it's a citizen or a foreign investor. The United States, for example, have done similar things on many occasions. If you remember the Volkswagen scandal, take a look up on the screen. This coming from the government. Former CEO of Volkswagen charged with conspiracy and wire fraud in the diesel emission scandal. The Volkswagen emission scandal began in September 2015 when the United States Environmental Protection Agency issued a notice of violation of the Clean Air Act to the German automaker Volkswagen. United States authorities have extracted $25 billion in fines, penalties, civil damages, and restitution from Volkswagen for the 580,000 tainted diesels it sold in the United States. So listen, the United States then ran Volkswagen for like over $25 billion, right? Meanwhile, Mark Bristow, he ducking and hiding because of $500 million. Mark Bristow ducking and hiding because of $500 million. When really we should be asking for billions of dollars like the United States ran Volkswagen for. But we only asked for $500 million and Mark Bristow hiding under the bed. My God, we only demanded $500 million and Mark Bristow hiding under the bed, hiding in the closet, trying not to be seen. My God, what a coward. Anyway, let's continue. Oliver Schmidt is a German engineer and a former senior executive for Volkswagen in Germany and the United States, as well as a convicted felon. In December 2017, he was sentenced to 7 years in federal prison for his role in the Volkswagen emission scandal. So not only have the United States in the past also ran foreign companies for billions of dollars because of crimes they committed on the national territory, but they've also convicted CEOs of foreign companies as well, right? Charged them with crimes and put felony charges on their record. And I say all that to say, just because I'm aware of the type of narrative they might create, don't let them try to run any propaganda, talk about Assimi Goïta is pulling off dictator moves. This is a military dictator who is harming democracy. No, what he is doing is simply enforcing the laws of the land, bro. He is simply enforcing the laws of his national territory. No different than what the United States did in this case with Volkswagen. And the United States went farther than what Mali is doing. They demanded billions, multiple billions of dollars, and they convicted the CEO with felony charges. The only thing we asking for is $500 million and simply answer your charge for money laundering, because Mark Bristow has a charge on his name for money laundering. That's what the arrest warrant is for. So we charge him with money laundering. Simply answer for your charges and pay off your debts. Because if you were doing business in the United States, you would have been forced to abide by their rules and regulations, right? And if you were charged with a crime, you would have to answer for it. If you were fined, you'd have to pay off the debt. So an African country should be no different. You should have the same level of respect. That's all I'm saying. Now, take a look up on the screen. Here's another example. French regulator fines Google 220 million euros for abusing dominant market position. Google is being fined 220 million euros by France's antitrust watchdog for abusing its dominant position in online advertising. So as you can see, even major companies like Google are also sued, are also being fined and being told to pay off their debts, right? So listen, at the end of the day, man, what Assimi Goïta is doing is no different than what many other governments have done in the past. Simply enforcing the rules and regulations established on your national territory. Now, here's an example where it's the exact opposite, where Assimi Goïta, an African nation, is charging a foreign investor, a Western foreign investor, with financial crimes. This is an example of the opposite. The United States charging an African foreign investor with financial crimes. Take a look up on the screen. The CEO of a Nigerian airline and a co-defendant indicted for obstruction of justice. A United States court renews arrest warrant for Air Peace CEO Alan Onyema. I did a video on that months back, right? So this is a black man, an African brother from Nigeria. He has his own privately owned airline, right? And he's been charged with money laundering by the United States government, right? So as you can see, this is no different than Assimi Goïta charging the Western foreign investor of the gold mining company with money laundering. It's no different. It's no different, bro. And I say all that just to get ahead of whatever narrative could be created by the Western media to try to paint it as something that it's not. Try to paint it as something that's out of the ordinary. It's not out of the ordinary. Because if a regular citizen is obliged to follow the rules and regulations established on the national territory, then you as a foreigner, you as an outsider, you as an immigrant, you as a foreign investor must also abide by the same rules and regulations and guidelines set by the government, right? You don't get special privileges because you are a foreign investor. In fact, you should be placed under more scrutiny because you are an outsider coming to do business and exploit the country and make a profit off the back of our wealth. So you should be placed under extra scrutiny, even more than the average citizen. You don't get no special privileges, my friend. And I know maybe under previous regimes, maybe under past administrations that signed those lopsided contracts with you, which is why we had to adopt a whole new mining code and renegotiate all the contracts altogether. So maybe in the past, you were able to enjoy a free ride, enjoy certain privileges and amenities that were unavailable to the average citizen. Maybe you could break the law in a way that the average citizen was not able to break the law. But I'm sorry to tell you, brother, it's a new day. Yesterday's price is not today's price. So listen, Mark Bristow, the CEO of Barrick Gold, we gave you the notification. We told you come down to the country. We told you pay off your debts, pay what you owe, come down to the country, sit at the table, renegotiate the contracts. Let's talk about what's going on, bro. Let's examine the financial records. You have decided, you have taken it upon yourself to say, kiss my ass. I'm not paying you a goddamn thing. I'm not paying you a dime. That's fine. So we're going to go down to the mining site and we're going to load up all the goddamn gold in the helicopter and we're going to put it in the treasury. We're going to put it for safekeeping to make sure it doesn't get lost. And you know what's funny? That's the same exact thing they tell us about our artifacts. All of our ancestral artifacts locked up in the British Museum, in the French Museum, they tell us we got to keep this here for safekeeping, make sure it doesn't get lost. So we're going to go down to the mining site. We're going to confiscate the several metric tons of gold, load it up in a chopper, and we're going to keep it for safekeeping until you want to come back down to the country and have a conversation, right? We're going to keep it for safekeeping because obviously you don't want to pay off your debt. So we're going to keep this as basically, you know, to pay off your debt for you. This is going to go towards the debt, right? This $380 million worth of gold that we confiscated, this is going to go towards your $500 million debt. You feel me? So anyways, man, it's your boy Never that's a lane back in the building. Yes, indeed. Cash app in the description. Support the channel, man. Support the album. Peace.
No. Feel like I'm 75. Know to your team be full of them traders. You know that can never be mine. I'm grabbing a thought when I drive. I'm back in my zone and we on. She said that she ready to come be my wife. Yeah, hoping I don't do her wrong. I gave her my word in this bond. I'm whipping the best like a lamb. I mean no chicken and lamb. Accustomed to call me the man. I never be up on the gram. I'm keeping that way undercover. She want me to tell her I love her. I told her I'm breaking the rules. I told her we making the news. Back in my city they loving me. Standing alone I'm 100 deep. Enemy plotting and still in reach. They try to make sure that we underneath. Trying to make sure that we never make it. Coming for power, come get acquainted. Coming for everything that I wanted. Feeling like Drake but I really wrote it. Feeling like Kendrick, I'm checking names. Gotta roll up while I go insane. Got so much stress, I've been gaining weight. Stuffing these racks in this Louis case. One thing for certain, I'm about to check. Keep it 100 and nothing less. Stick with the family since day one. Had to stay down till my day come. Had to stay down, but I'm never patient. Hop on the mic and I'm motivated. Hop on the mic and I drive a classic. Haters can't see me, they copping glasses. Back in the studio making magic. Got a new tape and it's in production. Back on my business, I got a budget. Staying low key when I'm out in public. Feel like I'm 75. Know to your team be full of them traders. You know that can never be mine. I'm grabbing a thought when I drive. I'm back in my zone and we on. She said that she ready to come be my wife. Yeah, hoping I don't do her wrong. I gave her my word in this bond. I'm whipping the best like a lamb. I mean no chicken and lamb. Accustomed to call me the man. I never be up on the gram. I'm keeping that way undercover. She want me to tell her I love her. I told her I'm breaking the rules. I told her we making the news.